Alright, what's up guys, this is Dom, and we're here with the ICBA Season 3 draft analysis for your New Jersey Naganadevils. We're going for first place this season. So first up, we're going to give a huge shout out to Johnny GB and Bill Standish for the new logo. I love it, and it's going to be a very fun season overall. So let's get right into it. First off, we got our first pick, which is Darkrai. We picked it number 9 overall, which I'm surprised it fell down to number 9. Anyway, but it gets very nice dark stab with Dark Pulse, Bolt Beam coverage, and Sludge Bomb for the fairies. It's definitely a great Pokemon. 90 bulk, 135 special attack, and 125 speed. It's fantastic also. So it's going to outspeed a lot of teams, and it's going to hit very hard. And it could also just set up a nasty plot and win too. Next up, we have Jirachi. Jirachi gets a bunch of coverage moves for no reason, because I bet you everybody at Game Freak's going like, oh, Jirachi doesn't get tackle, might as well give it next generation, something like that. Jirachi just gets every move under the sun. It even gets Moonblast, Draco Meteor, because even though it's not a dragon, it gets Draco Meteor. Even though it there's no reason to ever run Draco Meteor because it gets Play Rough and Moonblast. Like some fairy type Pokemon don't even get Moonblast, and Jirachi gets Moonblast. Konami. I'm sorry, Game Freak logic right there. But it can Iron Head flinch, which is always a good thing, right? Might as well have some luck on our side, right? And if you're wondering about the nickname, Francelak is a Croatian music teacher who's the luckiest man alive, and I'll tell you why. This man survived a car crash, a bus crash, his car blew up a few times. He also survived a plane crash, and he also fell off a cliff, and he survived all of it. So this man is the luckiest man alive, and what better nickname for the luckiest Pokemon than the luckiest man alive? Alright, so next up we got Diggersby Hugh Hefner, founder of the Playboy Mansion. Got it, it's perfect. Diggersby, is, I think, underrated. It has two very good stabs in draft format in normal and ground. Normal is definitely a little underrated in draft format, but because it just hits a lot of almost everything neutrally except the ghost types, obviously. But it does get things like knockoff. Like it has its attack with spikes, but Jirachi can set up Stealth Rock, and this gives out spikes. It also gets U-turn. It has more attack than Azumarill, so that's just gonna tell you how powerful this thing is. It has access to the ability Huge Power, which doubles its attack, obviously. And it's just overall just a very good Pokemon. It's going to break a lot of walls. It's a nice wall breaker to pair with Darkrai here too, so I'm very excited to use it. Next up, we have my Vaporeon here. Vaporeon is one of my favorite Pokemon to use in draft format. It's just an old reliable for me. Scald is just a fantastic move. This thing has 130 HP, which is which passes the fattest of wishes ever. And also 110 special attack makes Scalds hit pretty hard, even uninvested, which is honestly incredible because it fits my playstyle perfectly. So it's definitely a Pokemon I love using. So let's just get right into our Chia Pet here. Whenever I look at this thing, I'm like, this is a Chia Pet. It gets Seed Flare, which is basically Solar Beam without having to charge, but it has 80 accuracy. It gets pretty awesome coverage moves with Earth Power, Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam. It also gets Natural Gift if I want to be cheeky like that, if it doesn't have enough coverage. But maybe for Skarmory or Celesteela, something like that. That would probably be the only reason why I would run Natural Gift. But I really like Shaman. I did get two of the level 100 Pixie guys with 100 base stats. I didn't plan on doing that, but that's just what ended up happening. But they're good Pokemon, and there's nothing wrong with them. I like it, and I'm very excited for the team so far. Next up, I didn't have a fairy yet. I need a fairy. Got Leslie here. Whenever I look at this thing, it reminds me of the episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy. Ed with 2 D's, the smart one. It was revealed that his middle name was Leslie, and everybody was laughing because Leslie's a girl's name, even though you could be a man and a female, both named Leslie. It's totally fine. I also like this Pokemon because it can't be taunted with the Aroma Veil, so I can Wish, Calm Mind, without a care in the world, and people probably forget about that too. I definitely didn't remember that one time, and it didn't lose me a game, but it made it more annoying than it should have been. So this Pokemon, surprisingly, for a tier 4, it has pretty good stats. 99 special attack isn't bad. The bulk is pretty good too, with the base 101 HP, and 89 speed def. It's obviously not as good as Florges and other things, but for a tier 4, I'm very happy with it. Next up, we have Zorro, the swordsman from One Piece. This thing's just gonna punch holes. It gets Edge Quake with Stab Close Combat and Poison Jab and / Iron Head for the fairies. It is also my second and final Z captain. Both Darkrai and Terrakion can only use what's it called? Can only use attacking Z moves. So this thing's just gonna punch holes, and it fills my speed tier gap between 100 Jirachi and 125 Darkrai, which I think is gonna be very useful. So they can't really just speed creep Jirachi; they have to speed creep the Terrakion or Darkrai too. But you know, it's gonna be definitely very powerful Pokemon. It's definitely gonna pick up a lot of kills, and it also fixes the dark weak. It pairs really nicely with Jirachi because, you know, since it's weak to dark, I can switch this in and get a justified boost. And, you know, with the Z move attached to it, it's not really gonna care about knockoff. So next up, we have the godfather of the team, Mega Pidgeot. This is a tier 3 Mega. I think this is great value because, like, what wants to switch into a Hurricane? And, you know, you say Steel types, oh, it gets Heat Wave. Oh, but, like, there's this other specific Pokemon that resists flying and fire for some reason, and I just have a hidden power for it. That's really all the coverage you really need. That's the only coverage it gets. But, you know, it also gets U-turn, which is good for momentum too. And it's also my first Defogger on the team. I didn't have a Defogger yet, so, you know, it does some cool stuff, right? So that's pretty awesome. This is a Pokemon I'm very looking forward to using. I love just like clicking buttons. Right, all this thing really needs to do is just click Hurricane, and, you know, have a good time. Next up, we have PK Hex. You know, that software people use to hack Pokemon in, right? And, you know, Rotom hacks other appliances. Alright, so there's 3 reasons why I drafted this Pokemon. 1 is Volt Switch, 2 is Will-O-Wisp, and 3 is Defog. I definitely wanted those 3 Pokemon with those 3 moves out of my NU Pokemon, and this just fits all the criteria. And I don't have this typing either, and I don't have an Electric type, and I also don't have a Ghost type, so this Pokemon just fit perfectly on this team. You know, it gets a lot of cool moves. Like Hex is a cool move. I think it's a really cool move. And Trick is also fun. Like, you know, you can you know, cripple some walls, right? And so it's definitely gonna be a good time. You know, Rotom's a very fun Pokemon. It has actually pretty decent stats all around too. So I'm really looking forward to using Rotom. Next up, we have Private Ryan, the Kecleon, right? You know, Saving Private Ryan, that great movie. So I'm like, you know, I'm thinking Kecleon is like camouflages and everything, right? And an army soldier uses camouflage, so, you know, Saving Private Ryan, let's go. It's my 3rd Stealth Rocker along with Terrakion and Jirachi. So I'm pretty good with hazards, so I do have 4 hazard setters with Terrakion, Jirachi, Kecleon, and Diggersby. Those 4 can set hazards, so that's pretty good. It gets access to knockoff, so I have another Pokemon that can use knockoff, so it's always good. And this thing gets a lot of coverage moves, and 120 Spadef for some reason. Like, every other stat is like mediocre, but then there's just a random 120 Spadef right there. So you know, it's really cool, Kecleon. I really like Kecleon. I've never actually drafted it, but it's definitely gonna be a fun Pokemon to use. Protean is a fun ability too. All right, so for my last Pokemon, I only had 20 points. So, you know what? I'm just going dollar bills here. You know, Mr. Krabs loves his money, and you know, Shiny Kingler is green, so might as well name it dollar bills. So this Pokemon gets access to Sheer Force and Liquidation. It got in Gen 7, which actually lets it use the Sheer Force ability for once. Even though this thing does die to Thunder Shock, but, you know, 130 Liquidation, like, you know, with the Sheer Force boost, it's gonna, you know, it's not gonna be a good time for whatever wants to switch into it. So definitely a very fun last Pokemon on this team, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you like the music too. So see you guys next time.